Oh, you're right. It is nice in here. Hey everybody, welcome back. Mr. Foster here in the shop, and I want to take you through what really is not our first tool, our second tool. Our first tool that we learned about was our drawing tools, right? T-squares and triangles and things. But this is the first tool that we started using in shop, and everybody takes your clamps for granted. But clamp can be your friend, especially if you don't have any friends like me. When you got to hold a piece, a clamp can be like having a friend, and you can talk to it, and sometimes it talks back. I'm going to start with some specialty clamps, and then I'm going to get into what we normally use here in shop. But sometimes you want to make something that is a miter like this that's got 245s. You want to make it a 90 degree. This is a cute little clamp that you can use that'll do that and hold two pieces much easier than trying to juggle those together. This is another kind of a specialty clamp. This is a strap clamp. So you can put this around something round. Maybe you're making a mast for your sailboat and you want to be able to clamp all the staves, as they call them, together. This is a great way to do it. It's just a big canvas strap, and as you tighten down, it pulls in. So this is another version of a clamp. Some of the other ones we use, there's a couple from Metal Shop. They look like this. They look like a pair of vice grips, but it actually is a nice way to hold things that you're welding. You can see these guys get a little weldy on there, but when you see these funny looking guys, that's what we're talking about. Another thing we use back there, C-clamps. C-clamps are great. You can tighten them down and hold stuff real well. Couple things though with woodworking. A lot of times these little pieces fall off, and then you're just putting a dent in your wood, so you really want to make sure. And even if it has this little pad on here, it's still a small surface area that you can crank and put a lot of pressure. So if you're using that, put a little piece of scrap in there so you don't end up denting your wood. And they make little baby ones too that are super cute. Real simple clamp, spring clamp. You squeeze it, it opens. Good forearm workout. These are nice for just holding something real quick. Got bigger ones, smaller ones. Use these a lot in the boat building that we do with the thin strips of plywood and that, to just hold them sort of temporarily. All right, so those are our weird little clamps. The ones we use in class are usually like this. So I'll start with this guy. This is a furniture clamp, so if you're making a large piece of something, you could clamp, you know, if I were trying to make a table like this that's all laminated, I could take a clamp like this, get long enough, and clamp all those pieces together. Not many people are gonna have these just lying around because they're pretty specialized. The clamps that we have over, the longer clamps that we have over there, there's these guys that are one-handed clamp. Nice thing is, if I'm holding something with my left hand, I pick this guy up, I can squeeze it down and clamp something with one hand. What I don't like about these is that you can't squeeze them as tight as you can something with a screw. You can clamp it down, but there's always a little bit of play in there. And they're all plastic, so eventually in school they fall apart. There's another version of a bar clamp. Both these are Harbor Freight. They're very cheap. These are aluminum, and they work pretty well. You just have to clean them out every now and then. We get glue down in these little holes that are supposed to catch. Whenever you start with one of these, the first step is to back this off all the way. I'll see kids over there cranking and cranking. They can't figure out why this won't move anymore because this screw is all the way down. There's nothing you can do. This one is a little bit different. This one opens that way, and then the screw is here. Again, kind of like a C-clamp, because you have a small surface area there, you can put a little dent in it, whereas these have more of the square pads to them. But the king of all clamps, this is the Jorgensen. So the story goes, old Mr. Jorgensen was the first shop teacher here at Ballard. And when he retired, he decided he was going to leave his mark on the woodworking world, and he invented something called the Jorgensen clamp. Some say he still resides here. But I don't know. The important thing with a Jorgensen clamp is to remember to keep them parallel. So your first step when you get a Jorgensen clamp is to set it on the table that way and get them parallel. Get the two sides parallel. Now, if I want to make this bigger or smaller, as long as I start parallel and I use it like this, then they will be the same. They will stay parallel. Won't get out of that. So you get your clamp. I'm going to clamp down my board here. I'm going to do a cut on this. I set it on the table and I kind of gauge. I want this to be a little smaller. And then when you clamp, the important thing is they stay parallel. You don't want them pinching this way, you don't want them pinching that way. So you got to get down, you got to bend down, and you got to look. How much surface area is the clamp actually holding? And there's a number that we always use, a minimum number of clamps. And that number's 2. 2 clamps. Why? Because I crank this guy down as tight as I can go, and I come over here to cut my board, and look what it does. All I did was make a fulcrum. I got one place now that this is going to twist. Even if I take a easy, simple, cheap quickie, boop, boop. There we go, solid. Clamps are your friend. Keep things from moving around. You really don't want your work moving around while you're trying to manipulate it. So make a friend with a clamp and use them wisely. Thanks.